Hello, it's Jimmy here already. So I have here behind me, just pulled up a Renault Trafic. It's been having some DPF issues. It's been back and forth to some garages. He's telling me they've even replaced the ECU for some reason. But it had it said it had a blocked DPF code. So it's had a force regen, but now it's got different sort of DPF fault codes, and the garage doesn't know what to do with it. It spent 6 months at a garage without even leaving. And then they just called him and said, yeah, it's fixed, and come and pick it up. And as soon as he drove half a mile out of the garage, the light came back on. So I'm going to get back in once I finish my cup of tea. So it's a Renault Trafic, like I said. It's on a 17. Okay, let's start it up, see what we're looking at. Doesn't seem to be anything there at the minute. Okay, so I've got the Launch UK Euro Tab 3, we've got it on Renault, do a high speed scan. I've got one in the urea dose and control module that's not good. That means complications and expense usually. Nitrogen oxide exceedance component failures. Oh, that's not a good sign. Right, clutch signal consistency invalid, differential pressure sensor circuit, particle filter, internal component failure of the differential pressure sensor, or the DPF is that. Let's go into live data. Alright, we'll go to data stream. We're going to look at differential pressure. This soot. Yeah, 1 millibars of pressure, that's a bit low, isn't it? Let's hold it up to 3000 RPM. I've only got about 15 millibars of pressure and 1 at idle. So if we hold the revs up here, we can see the grams of soot are dropping, even though the engine is cold and it's not moving. It's not doing a regen either. I'm gonna see if we hold this, will it go into negative figures? I'm just going to hold the revs for a few minutes, see if this soot goes into negative figures. There is another test I can do, is check the exhaust with my finger. I'm just going to see if this goes into negative readings, which would indicate that the DPF has failed. That would also answer the NOx exceedance code as well, because if the DPF has failed, it's going to cover the catalyst in soot, and then the catalyst isn't going to work. So it's taking its time, but it is coming down. Let's have a look under the rear of the van at the exhaust. It's definitely got soot in there, innit? Yeah. Right, so here's a piece of paperwork from Renault. So it did have 70 grams of soot on it apparently. They've done a force regen. So I think maybe the force regen's killed the DPF really. Yeah, so it was at Renault not so long ago there. There's some more paperwork. Cabin filters replaced. So it's had a service and a wash. $549. Seals on another one. So I'm just under the vehicle here. Just got a little torch set up there so I can see what I'm doing. Just having a look, make sure there's no physical damage to the tubes, which would be decreasing the DPF pressure. It doesn't look like it. These pipes can burst It looks like he's going to need a replacement DPF here, but some of these aren't going to come off very likely. Temperature sensors and possibly even this NOx sensor. So I'll pull the pipe off, just going to blow through that, make sure that it's not blocked. So then if we remove these and connect up a manometer here to the pressure sensor, that goes over there. See there we've got a pressure of 3.4, and then if we test the second pipe here, this one, we've got around 1.3, 1.4. So if we deduct that 1.3 from the 3.5, we've only got like 1.5 or 2 millibars of pressure here. So the pressure under there sort of equates to roughly what we've got here on the diagnostic machine. So I know the sensor isn't bad, the pipes aren't burst, but none of those tests are really needed because the definitive test is it's got soot on the exhaust, so the soot is passing the DPF. That's going to be why we have low pressure, and that's why the catalyst isn't working either, because the catalyst is now going to be covered in soot, so it's not going to do its job. So the question is I don't know, was the DPF fine before it had the work done at Renault, or before it had the force reagents? I'll never know the true answer because I don't know the full history of the vehicle, but it is likely that could have happened. So we'll have to just leave this at a diag. I don't think there's anything I can do to fix it without replacing the DPF and the catalyst system itself. So see you in the next video.